Good evening, Nick the Forester here. As y'all saw in the last video, I decided to go with the spare block in this 850. And in the last one you seen, we put the top cover on for the intake boot. I don't know what it's technically called, that's what I'm calling it. We're getting the tank on, and we are just rocking and rolling on through it. So why don't y'all stick around and see if we can get this guy wrapped up tonight. So, last left off, we had gotten all the back mounts done. We are working on front ones now. So, I got to get this guy like so. Put him up in here. Get it lined up. She is right there. Did we get started? We did. Alright, got that one started. Work on this next one. That's a locking. This is a regular washer. There we go. Let's grab our, I believe it's a 7/16. I believe it's a 11mm. But I'll be correct if I'm wrong. Gotta go that way with it. Alright, got that one fairly tight. Let's go ahead and run this one a little bit further with our fingers. Seems like these anti-vibe mounts, the first mount to go is this front mount. The rear one typically will be in fairly decent shape from what I've seen. I could be wrong, but that's just what I've seen. There we go, that one's tight. That was tight. Alright, let me go ahead and spray this out real quick. There we go. Had a little crud downfall in it. A little bit more. Spray it out just a touch more. There we go. Now the crud's out of it. Alright, so where should we go from here? Guess we could put the bottom tank on, or bottom, go ahead and do the muffler and all that. Get it good to go. Bolts are in it. There's the gasket. I believe it goes like so. Nope, flop it around. That's the thick side. There we go. Stay. We'll bolt this guy up on there if we can. There we go. And this is a, I believe it is a, like I said, 81 block, so it may not line up perfect, but it'll be pretty close. Close enough for what we're doing. Make sure that gasket is in there right. Don't want to blow it out. Is that guy? It is. Okay. Good headwind. Let's see, which I believe is close to that. It is. Go ahead and finish. Alright, I think that's tight. over tighten it and strip it. Let's see if we can get this. Where's screwdriver at? Right in front of my face. Gotta bend this guy out just a little bit. Rather tighten up that one first. Alright, now we're getting tight. Yep. Bolt holes are lining up. Go ahead and get this little guy with my wrench. We're getting a pretty good lick in this thing now. I already had it fairly tight. There she goes. She is locked down there good. Looks like we are sealing. Alright. Go our bottom cover, which is that guy. This bottom bolt, which I think is in the other cylinder. And the other one that's in the other cylinder. Start this guy, grab them other two bolts. There she goes, that's how she's supposed to line up. Set that guy down in there. Alright. Oh, cylinder. Grab that guy. So we kind of just hopped on into this, getting on a roll with it. It's going together fairly decent. So, unfortunately, when I get going like that, it's hard for me to slow down and do a good introduction. So I apologize for that. I cannot wait to get a new piston for this cylinder. It is in marvelous, marvelous shape. I'd be surprised if it ain't a very low hour. I don't know what somebody did to this saw to make the piston do that, but this cylinder is in amazing shape, to say the least. Come down a little bit further. There we go. Alright, and I imagine you're going to be pretty close to that guy. She's coming together. It's just rust, honestly. Can't wipe that off. And I'm not a good painter. I'll say that right now. So pretty much any of my saws you won't get restore quality out of. I don't have the ability to. That should be tight enough. So I'm gonna let them wear their what they call now patina. I mean, they earned it. This was obviously a work saw at some point in its life. Worked for somebody. I don't want to rob it of that. Alright, there we go. Let's see, it's got all that. So we won't have won't have a mount up here. So we gotta have that little bolt right there. Yeah, that's just how it's gonna be. That's just how it's gonna be. Alright, so where do we want to go from here? Do we want to put the flywheel and clutch on? This one's got a key in it, so I'll put that key in that other flywheel. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. Along with this rest of this muffler nonsense. that. There's that guy and that guy. No, that came out of the... No, it didn't come out of the tank. Maybe it did come out of there. Trying to remember where some of these came from. Sure I ain't missing nothing. 2 bolts for this reed style, which is not the worst muffler I've ever seen, but it's not good either. I think it'll be fine. Believe that went to one of you. That going on there? One of them had a funky bolt. I'll have to flip back. That was too small for you. That one's gonna be way too big. Let's go back to our box. There's the other one. It was this guy. Do you remember that? It was. These bolts might just be shot. Well, they're the same size. Just this one's a little rough. The front one. Yeah, that ain't gonna be it no more. That one's about rusted out. Was that size at one point? Cause this one fits like a glove or dang clothes. Oh, nope, that's it. Sorry, I did grab the wrong one. Muffler on, rest of the way. Really spinning down in there. That is unfortunate. Okay. Seems like that bolt hole is stripped. Be curious to see if this one is. Nope, this one's good. This one is stripped. I do believe. This is still, no, it's just stripped. That's unfortunate. We'll leave it for now. We'll have to come back and address that. Looks like they had tried to run a longer bolt through it at one point. Ugh, that's aggravating. Alright, what's next? This guy. Pull off you. Let's wipe down some of this crap off this. This guy drew blood on me last time. I gotta be careful because it's sharp. It's dang gum razor sharp. Definitely ate a chain or two before. Backside's pretty darn clean. For the most part, it is darn clean. Trying to make sure I don't cut myself again. She went something like that, or that. Then there's our spacer. And we got our clutch. Still spins good. Bearings good. Go ahead and finish putting you on. What's going on here? There we go. finished putting it on. Just gonna get it started. There we go. Gotta be careful with these mounts. Let's go on to our flywheel, which we will put this in here. Put you back in there so we don't lose you. Come on. There you go. Wrapped up underneath here. This one is, yeah, right there. Get it on it. Let's see here. Where did I put that? Right there. Set the cylinder back down in the box. We're getting close. I'll grab something to hold this flywheel. So. Now we gotta get something. She ain't coming off of that. I guess we could go ahead and put our coil on. That can go next. Grab our coil bolts off of here, off the other cylinder. We're down to the nitty gritty now. I said that I got to pull the clutch back off. I didn't put the sprocket on it. It's a 3/8 7 tooth, but I do have an 8 tooth that I'm going to try on it later. There we go. I believe one went under, one went over, like so. So putting the coil on now. Put that guy right there. Set you down in there. Move you out of the way for now. Just get her started. Come back, grab this guy. Get it started. I got a business card here I'll use to finish her off with. But you are, there you go. So I had a little bit of gunk in that thread. Not bad. Go ahead and get you down. Now, business card. Slide a business card in here. This one's actually a little thick. Let me get my thinner one. We'll spin it around. There you go, right there. That's where we're going to lock her down at. Always try to push it tight into it. Lock her on down. Make sure she wasn't too tight. Go ahead and back that one off. Pull that one off. Make sure she's all the way down in there. There we go. Now it's not coming off now. Go ahead and lock down the top. Grab our gasket here, what's left of it. Slide it on into, I'll have to scoop it up some. Little gasket on this. Spark plug wire is about shot. There you go. I think it's got something on it so it doesn't get completely cut. No, I might spin it around. Try that side. Try it like that. That thing's shot. We'll just leave it for now. I can come back and try to fix that later. It's aggravating though. Alright. I guess now let's get into the handle. Zero right here. Let's pull this guy back off. I'll set you up in it for now. Then we'll worry about that bottom. Oh man, we're way off. Okay. Might have to work on that bottom first. Alright. Stand you. Turn you back around. Oh, that'll also not help us. Still got the tag on it. And I got ahead of myself tonight, I tell y'all. But we might have it wrapped up in this video. We'll see. Alright. So that's what's going to be going through there. Okay. Get this guy started. Or come on. Go ahead and just set it up in this. There. Over some. Oh. Come up. Nice. So. Alright, I'm having to move around this guy a little bit. I get this bolt started down there. There we go. Got it started. I believe it is 14. Nope, definitely it's not. What was it? 16? 16. I don't know where I sent my wrench off to. That's bad. Where a little spider? I'm crawled up on here. I don't know where my little what's it called went. Got the darndest clue. We'll send this guy home right now. grab our tank bolt. Got her locked in here. I believe it is a 14, or really it's ½ inch, but I'm not sure where I set my ½ inch. 13 is way too big. It's my 7/8, but 7/8 got it. Yep. There you go. What we got going on back here? Just got this guy, which I do not have the grommet for, so I'll have to forgive me for that. I won't be having the grommet for now, but at least it'll be together. We're going to verify we have support before we get done with this as well. Wonder if I have a washer I could put on that. Wonder if I got a washer I could put around that so it don't pull through that hole no more. Just for the time being. I ain't gonna run it without it, or not much at least, because I don't want to run these what's called out of it. That'll work. Hold that for now. It's gonna have some, but I tell you, that's already 100 times better than it was. I mean, it would flop around in here. Seriously, this thing would absolutely flop. All right, let's go ahead and pull this clutch back off. We can put the sprocket back on there real quick. Oh man, we're already running up on 28 minutes. I was trying to get done with this quick. Good thing that bearing's fairly well stuck in there. It's always fun when they're loose. See, most of it's where it's going. We'll flip it around. That way it should have something to bite too. There we go. Set this guy back in there. Run it on back on down. Which we won't run it down. Figure of speech, figure of speech. Alright, what we got now? I guess just starter cover. I'll have to put the oil tank cover on. And go ahead and put our old cap. No, we'll leave the cap out for now. Grab a starter. This thing is in fairly decent shape. A little dirty. Clean it off real quick. Ooh, that stuff is baked on there. Just loosen it up. stuff is baked on there. It ain't even making a dent in it. Not even a dent. Let's see. Just use this very lightly. Grab out the big chunks. Get underneath it. It's all that ran hot to bake it in like that for a while. I had to run this through a parts washer. Man, that's nasty. But don't worry about it for now. Recoil is a little gacked right there, but that's okay. See about throwing it on real quick. Make sure everything lines up halfway decent. Oh, kill wire. I almost forgot about you. Gotta run it underneath this wire. Come on. You can do it. There you go. Kill wire is something stiff. Let me tell you. Mighty stiff, mighty stiff. There you go. Lines up like a dream. And about as much of a dream as you can ask for. So now we'll have to pull it. And she's a little off, but not by much. Not by much at all. I'll have to run a bolt in there. Bolt back here. I think we got all of these. At least I hope we do. So we won't have that top left one. So we're going to have to do this one, this bottom right one, that one. Do as many as we can. Give it the best opportunity it has. Try to run this out to 40 minutes and we'll just make it 2 videos putting it back together. Alright, that's too tight, but enough for the girls we go with. And remember if I went, I have to loosen it up actually some. A little too tight. One went down here, one went up here. Put this guy up front. This longer bolt down here. Y'all hanging with me still? We're sitting at 33 minutes. Be close. That one's a cap head screw. Or not cap head, but a bolt. That's tight. Where do we set one? No, we'll set these two, that one. We'll leave that one free. I'll have at least, yeah, because there won't be anything to bolt right there, I don't believe. Drop one in, but I don't think, because there's not that slot. I think it's just going to fall right through. So I could throw a nut on the back side. Yeah, it just goes straight through. I'll have to save that, put that in a box. I bet the Super 81, that top plate had a boss on the back side, I have a feeling. But this will work for now. reason our back cover back here ain't want to fit just right. Just loose. I think I tightened this guy all the way down, didn't I? No, did not. I may have a bolt that could fit in there. I'll just have to see. Alright. If I can find my spark plug, I think it was this guy, we will check for spark. Make sure we still got it. At one point it did have it. I'm hoping it still does. Nope, it still got it. Gotta pull it, but it still got it. Not the best in the world. Need something good to ground it to. Not easy on these saws. Come on, give me something to ground to. Can I stick you right there for a second? Yeah, she still got spark. Set that guy back down in there. I don't think I have my scrunch. Actually, the scrunch is down there. I don't like how that's going. Ooh, don't crack on me. There we go. Clean it up just a titch. Then we'll get to my funnest part, the carb. The carb on these is not that fun. It's not that fun at all. Come on. Can I get one more on it? Without busting my hand. Here we go. Should be tight. There we go. Guess we're down to the carb now, which I actually have that running Zama off the other one that I know works that we will put in here. It's just going to be fun getting it in here. I ain't found a good way to do this yet. Go. Oh, I forgot. I gotta pull this guy off. Yeah, that fuel line on that other one busted off and never got it off of here. Pull it off real quick. Goodness. Talk about junk. Pulling the pieces. There we go. Go. Let's get this guy off. There we go. Go ahead and try to put this, I'm guessing a steel fuel line, that's what it looks like to me, on there. Put it, you down like that. And you, go back you all the way out, because you're like that. Down any spot. set this top plate back on. Let's get, there we go. There we go. They may have fuel line or air leak at the car because I didn't replace that gasket. We'll just have to see. Oh, passed off 40 minutes. So let's finish wrapping this guy up real quick. I won't keep y'all for the boring parts, or at least real boring. There we go. So she's still got full throttle. Pull that guy up, keep it on there. Choke works like it should. That's pretty well full throttle. I thought about using a govern carb on one of these saws, but I'm not sure if I will yet. Then, well, we'll have to tighten up that clutch first. Which, that ain't gonna be it. Darn close. I could knock that guy on there. But I won't hold y'all on there or hold y'all up any longer. I appreciate y'all watching. She's back together. She's pretty darn tight. I mean, much tighter than it was with them ripped ones. Or ripped one, the front one. The back one's in pretty darn good shape. Lower one wasn't bad. And so I'm just going to tighten up this clutch, throw the clutch cover on, throw the fuel cap on, and throw the front plate on, and it'll be ready to set aside and on to the next. So once again, I appreciate y'all watching. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Thank y'all so much for liking and subscribing. I think we just hit 75 subscribers, which is awesome. It's more than I ever expected. I appreciate y'all commenting. I love talking to y'all. If y'all need any parts, just let me know. If I can help you out, I will. And I ain't gonna gouge you like eBay will. So hope y'all have a great rest of y'all's evening, and hope y'all have a great week ahead. Thanks, guys.